Good morning, collective. How are you? So we're gonna do something a little bit different this morning. I haven't used this deck, I don't think at all on TikTok, but I was drawn to use this deck and I was sitting here shuffling and this card came up. It's talking about endure. And what I heard as I touched this card was you have endured. You've endured so much, collective. And at times, maybe it felt unfair, right? Because most of you guys are just out here shining your light, right? Most of you guys are just out here loving on people, trying to deposit love into other people, right? Whether it's your family, your friends, your coworkers, you guys you guys are these little beautiful lights that are just planted all over the world here, and it feels so unfair to have to endure so much, right? To have to carry so much, right? My spirit bringing this up, your intuition. Intuition speaks about being connected, right? Connected to source, connected to knowingness, connected to wisdom. Okay? Connected to your life. That's what I'm hearing. Prosperity. Even, oh, I want to sneeze. Excuse me. Collective, even when it seemed unfair, even when it seemed like you could not endure not a second more, right? You remaining connected to source, connected to your intuition, it's what makes you who you are. You know what I'm saying? The fact that you can endure, the fact that you don't just throw in the towel, and give it up and give up and say, oh, well, the world's a dark, horrible place because I went through this and I went through that. And, the fact that you can still hold your light, even though you've had to endure some tough stuff, right? That's what makes you who you are. And we've been pregnant. Look, she's pregnant. You've been pregnant with this light for so long. It's time to give birth to that. Okay? Now is a time of birth. The time of enduring is passing. Okay? The time to just endure is coming to pass. It's coming to an end. It's no more about just enduring. It's time to give birth. And with this giving birth energy, there's prosperity. There's seeds coming to fruition, right? There's all those moments where you've been enduring and you've been depositing your light and your love when it seemed so unfair because the seeds were planted but they needed time to grow, and those were the times you were enduring. Well, now those seeds have been growing and you get to look back at your work now, is what they're telling me. You get to look at the seeds that have grown, and it's time for the harvest. And with this harvest is your prosperity. Think of yourself as these farmers, right? And every relationship that you're in, every light of wisdom or love or insight that you use your intuition to deposit into the people around you is a seed. You're a farmer. You're planting these seeds. And so being mindful of the seed that you want to plant is very important. Being consciously aware of the seeds that you want to plant in your garden. is very important. And that's a lesson that I've been struggling with, because I think that's why the ego death is so important, right? It's hard. It's not easy to be a farmer. You think, oh, well, here's a bag of seeds. Let me just plant the seed and drop it in the ground and it's going to grow, right? But no, you got to hand select the seed. And before you can hand select the seed, you got to recognize what seed is what. And so that's what I feel like I've been going through training for. I feel like my training has been teaching me how to select the different type of seeds that I need to plant in my garden, if that makes sense. And sometimes you recognize the seed right away, and then sometimes you got a handful of seeds and you're like, they all look the same. I don't know which one to plant. You know, it's I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking. But if you look at yourself as this farmer who's planting a garden in your environment, in the world, in your families, in your workplaces, you know, just be aware of the seed, right? Be aware of what kind of seed you're planting. Are you planting a seed of love, of peace, of harmony, of encouragement? Are you planting those duds, right? The seed that's only going to grow up halfway, and when it does pop up out of the ground, it's going to have an ugly face, or it's going to be all a rotten pumpkin or something. I don't know, y'all. I'm just babbling this morning. But let's just see what else Spirit wants to talk about. So be the farmer. Be aware of the seed that you're farming. Just know that your intuition will always lead you towards prosperity. If you're connected with this intuitive light within yourself, it's going to lead you towards your prosperity. And the times where you're enduring is just the pregnancy of it's your pregnancy. It's your pregnancy. It's the time you're waiting for the seeds to gestate. It feels, you know, it's hard to endure. It feels unfair at times. I mean, when you're a pregnant woman and your feet start swelling, you're like, this isn't fair. Why doesn't he have to go through this? He put the seed in me, right? It's not fair, but at the end you have this beautiful baby and you're the mother and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with this child, you know, like, think of it like that, I guess. Spirit, why are you having me talking about this? Control. This is speaking about being selective of the seeds. Being aware of the seeds that you have in your hand and which seeds you want to plant, basically. Because it says, if you have moderate aggressive impulses, this is an invitation to control your temper. You are encouraged to explore how to express your needs or thoughts more openly and constructively to reduce your level of frustration. Makes sense. Okay. Boundaries. Your space is sacred. Your inner and your outer space is sacred, collective. That's your thoughts, your emotions, your environment. Your spirit is sacred, okay? Guests who overstay their welcome or impact your aura, and if you have every right to stand your ground. So that's speaking of different energies too. Energies, thoughts, emotions that impact your core essence of who you are. Recognize those are the bad seeds. Those are the seeds that are trying to mix in with your bag of good seeds, right? Recognize what those seeds are. Those seeds that are not going to grow to full gestation. The seeds that are going to come out these ugly, rotten pumpkins. Recognize what those seeds are. You have the right to kick those seeds out of your aura, out of your mind, out of your emotions. The key is to recognize it first, right? Recognize when something feels off. And then taking your power back and throwing those seeds away. Be gentle with yourself and all others. It's not easy to do, especially when we're hurt. I get it. But you are who you are, so you can do this, is what Spirit's saying. Remember that. You can be gentle.